Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about Retirement Boss Radio. This is a area I think of a lot of opportunity, and I don't know that we properly maximize it here at IAM. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we get everybody tuned up on what radio can do and what it can bring to your business. And I think hopefully we'll have a good high level of interest because I think there's some great opportunity here. So our guest speaker today is Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching. He has been had radio in his background for probably about 30 of his 41 years in the business. So a lot of experience. Retirement Boss Radio itself. Probably entering our third to fourth year, Retirement Boss Radio, and enjoying a lot of success from those that are using it. But I don't think, as I mentioned right out of the gate here, that we're getting quite the broad use that I think the success warrants. So I appreciate y'all, based on that, joining us here this morning. We have some great information on Retirement Boss Radio, and I'm going to go through a couple of things here in advance of that and make sure that you're aware of everything we do here at IAMS and what we can do to help you grow your business. And then we'll get right into radio here. And we should have you in and out probably in about 40 to 45 minutes, depending on the question. So many of you are aware of our new producer builders, and you see at the 750 level that we will get you kind of in the business, get everything you need and pay for your first 8 shows. And as we learn more about how radio works, you'll see that those 8 shows, recording 8 shows, will really it's probably a year's worth of radio shows by the time that we work them into your system the way that they should be done. So that's a pretty good an easy way to kind of get yourself started. What that doesn't include, we'll talk about, is a little bit of the advertising cost associated with it, which is actually a good part of the cost, in most cases the major cost of it. And you can see there's a number of other things that you can choose on as you just get rolling with us. That's available to folks during their first 6 months of being appointed with IAMS based on the business that you do. A couple of the programs that you're aware of that it can also help to offset the cost of radio is our marketing reimbursement program. Any business that you do, you're going to get a marketing reimbursement credit put into your account, and then you can use that. We match your spend dollar for dollar, so doubles the benefit, or I guess the benefit's the best way to put it, of your marketing dollars. And then some of our biggest checks go out on our referred producer program. Obviously, our business, like yours, is built from referrals. We are fortunate to get a lot of referrals from existing producers. And about 7 years ago, we began rewarding those with an ongoing bonus based on the business your referee does. And so you can see how those checks can get to be pretty good sized checks. We don't do a calculation there for you per se, but the bottom line is that when you get to the point where, let's say, your referral might be doing $1 million, that is going to result in a couple grand of bonus to you, and that bonus doesn't stop. As long as they're doing business, you're going to continue to get that bonus, and so that's why those add up to pretty good numbers. So hopefully, if you haven't already taken advantage of that, and I'm looking here, I just see a couple folks at least that I know we send referral checks to pretty regularly. So for those of you that haven't taken advantage of that, I hope that you'll consider referring a colleague or someone in your area to IAMS. Hopefully you'll see that we do a great job with the other parts of the business that you require. You've got great carrier relationships across the board with most carriers. Services, most of our competitors would tell you our service is better than almost anyone's. We are increasing every day the marketing opportunities and sales training opportunities we make available to you as well. So I think, and we do a great job with incentives. Just got back from the Greenbrier. So hopefully you see it as a worthy referral to a colleague that you really like and want to see do well in this business. 4 or 5 years ago, e-apps here, we probably were, as low as 15 to 20%. Now, most of our folks do business via e-app. There's 2 reasons for that. And number one was the pandemic that, of course, spiked that up substantially. But the other reason that I think we've seen an increase in usage on Firelight is because there are a couple of carriers that have become very popular and are gaining in popularity that require that the business be done via e-app. And that can be a little a little daunting at times. It doesn't always work well for us, but uh, what uh, what we did about 3 years ago, and I'm sure this contributed to our success on the eApp side as well, is now you can sign in almost any carrier that is doing eApps. You can now do from our website, so you don't have to go from website to website. You can cut and paste information from your Firelight instance here between carriers, and so if you're doing two apps with two different carriers on one client, you can do that cut and pasting. It makes it really slick. If you need to even 6 months from now, if you need to do that, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of reasons to use a common instance to Firelight, and we put that in place right about 3 years ago now, and that's made it a lot easier. If you haven't registered for that, I know there's some of you on here, I could be wrong about that, but I'm guessing there are probably a few of you on here that are not yet registered on our instance of Firelight. I would ask your sales director about that, and they can get you set up. The registration process takes literally about 3 minutes. We have to do an approval on it, but so that's why you should probably do it in advance when you want to do your first eApp with us, because it takes about 25 minutes for us to get your request and then get it approved and then get you access to Firelight. So if you haven't already done that, I would encourage you to give your sales director a call to do that. And most of our carriers, as I mentioned, that's the service that they use, at least on the annuity side. And of course, many of you that do life insurance with us know that iPipeline instance is what you use on the life side. Creative marketing solutions. Easy for me to think of this as your kind of advertising team. What they can do is help you grow your brand. Whatever you need to do locally, they can personalize a lot of stock forms that we have with your logo and your picture if you like. They do a really good job. It kind of looks like magic to you and me a lot of times, but to them it's like falling off a log, and they do a great job of it. A lot of that work we can do for you at little or no cost, and use marketing reimbursement, what have you, for items that are of cost. So if you haven't talked to your sales director about what the creative team can do to help you in your particular area, I think that's a worthy conversation, and I hope you'll have it with them soon. A lot of our guys and gals now use Retirement Analyzer. There are a number of programs out there like the Retirement Analyzer that you can input information on your clients and their financial picture and get a nice snapshot of where they are headed towards on their retirement path, and where the shortfalls are, maybe where they need to take a different turn than where they're at right now. And that can be very, very useful for you in the initial appointment. But I think what our folks have found, even more importantly, is it makes that client very sticky to you. So the Retirement Analyzer is something that your clients are going to want to see, their updated version, annually. And so it creates a good reason for that appointment for you. It creates a good opportunity for additional business, because you're going to find out about what's going on in their life, any life changes, things like that. And so that it's great for your client and great for you. What we have been doing over the last 7 or 8 years, we've been associated with Retirement Analyzer. We've been offering their products and having them present at our academies for about the last 14 or 15 years. For about the last 10, we've been making that available to our producers at our expense. We're big believers. We've seen the benefits to our producers that have used that. And so we want to make it as easy as possible for you to get started with that, because we know that's going to be good for your business. And as I always say, what's good for your business is good for our business. So if you're doing anything with us right now, we're going to make that available to you at no cost. Even if you're just getting rolling with us and you want to have a peek at it, you can give us a call. We'll open it up to you for 30 days, run a client or two, you certainly have a client or two, if not even do one in yourself, that you have the basic information that you would need to run a good retirement analysis. So you can kind of see what it spits out back to you. I think you'll be impressed and like what you see. And before you there, you can see what questions you're going to be able to answer for your client. If you have interest, give Marcus a call, give Justin a call. Here at our office, just say, hey, I want to talk to either Marcus or Justin about Retirement Analyzer, and they'll get that out to you and help you with the basics. And then another thing that we really like about Retirement Analyzer is they do a great job with training. They have weekly training sessions you can just tune into. They've got webinars that are recorded, much like we do, that you can, say, how do I do this? You can go in and look at their training modules and pick that up. And they also have a call service. So if you have a question and you want somebody to spend some time with you, you can call right into their team, and they've got 5 or 6 folks that's all they do all day long, really good at it. So hopefully you'll take advantage of Retirement Analyzer if you're not already. Life and Annuity Academy, I usually throw up a poll on this. Unfortunately, the last one for this year is just filled up. Uh, what I would say is if you have interest in coming to one of our Life and Annuity Academies, let your sales director know. They'll get you out a registration form. And then we just put those registration forms in the system. And when we have them coming up, we'll probably have 4. We had 3 this year, none the previous year. But we've been doing academies for 22 years until we had what I call the pandemic pause. And we weren't able to do those for about 18 months, almost 2 years. But we got back into it in spades towards the end of last year, and then through this year we got 3 in, and we'll probably do 4 in the 2023. We take care of your expenses associated with that, so you can see some of the things that we talk about. There, every academy has some upgrades and everything. There's some things that are always we think a little different or a little better. But you can see before you some of the basic questions that we answer academy after academy. There is a reason why that's probably within the marketplace one of the most sought after events. It is a lot of great sales and marketing information crammed into a pretty short period of time. And of course, we do take care of your expenses associated with that, including your travel, hotel, and meals, and et cetera. So if you have interest, give your sales director a quick call. All right, let's take a minute. I'm going to give you all just a little more background on today's host, Dave Pimper. Dave has been in the business since '81. Many years of success in the insurance and securities business. He has been a regular top producer with our firm for about the last 15, 16 years. It just seems like yesterday that he joined us, but it's been that long. And been coaching with us for about 14 of those. Practice management, seminar coaching on 2 or 3 seminars, a lot of Social Security claiming expertise training. More recently, and then of course, Retirement Boss Radio and Social Security seminars have been big things that we've been able to help many of our producers with over the last 6 or 7 years. So Dave has got a high level of expertise in all those areas. More importantly, he has a high level of expertise in a thing that's very important to all of us, which is, how do I find my way in front of more clients, and then how do I convert those clients from a prospect, or convert those prospects from prospects to clients. So pretty fortunate to have someone of Dave's caliber on the team to help our producers. His coaching now is exclusive to IAMS and has been for the last many years here. So he's well schooled on what we do and how we do it. And he's, of course, knows exactly what you're doing every day, because that's what he's doing every day. So let me make sure that we've got Dave aboard with us. There he is. Morning, Dave.
Hello. How are you doing? I'm doing fine, Steve. How are you doing?
Very well. It's Friday. This day swum past at a high rate. Hopefully it's because we're enjoying what I think a lot of folks in the field are enjoying, which is just record levels of business, which I think a lot of times a little market gyration and a little interest rate increase will do that for you. So we're happy to be where we're at.
Yeah, no doubt. And I like how you say a little, because actually the increase in COLA yesterday for Social Security, 8.7%, and that's the highest in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I started in 1981 in the business, and the very next year is when the inflation was the last time it's been this high. So, yeah, just kind of wild times. But one of the things that stays pretty consistent is that most people have to market their practice. If you're in the financial service arena and you're not marketing, you're not getting in front of new prospects, then it's pretty hard to keep kind of upping that bottom line, because expenses have certainly gone up with inflation. I mean, the groceries have gone up, oil has gone up the last couple of years. So hopefully your income has gone up to meet that. So let's talk about kind of a unique way. I do a lot of radio advertising, and I do it as a host to a Retirement Boss Radio show that Dave Pimper and IAMS in unison kind of put together and put it on the map, and we're going in and marketing it from a national standpoint and branding it. But it really is it's a cool system. It has a lot of different ingredients, but the end result is it's just a pretty good show. So this is only about a 10-12 minute webinar. We'll answer any questions you have. So this isn't going to be a long one. And but if you have never thought about radio as being a marketing source, Well, hopefully you'll change your mind when we're done today. You got to ask yourself why radio. Well, I'll tell you what, it reaches more Americans than any other platform, and that includes smartphones, personal computer. Is that wild? It reaches more people. Now, does it reach more young people? Maybe not, but it does reach more folks that are thinking about retirement, 50 and over? Yes, it does. Many more. Median age is about 61. And if in our business, if you work in the fixed indexed business or the rollover business from 401ks, 403bs, thrift savings plans, SEPs, simples, yeah, that's where the most of the money is there. That's the group I listen to, and that's who really listens to this radio program. It reaches much more of an upscale listener. In fact, in all of the U.S., 93% of all adults in 75,000 income households or more listen to radio on an average in that home 12 hours a week. If you think people watch television a lot, they listen a lot to radio. No doubt, different than seminars, which I really like seminars too, but radio solidifies you as the expert. I mean, when you're on radio or television, which we're talking about radio now, yeah, just really a different mindset. When they come in, it's like you're the guy, you're the gal, you're the one I heard on radio, right? Yeah, it's like you're a celebrity. In news talk, even though Rush Limbaugh is deceased, he was the really one that propelled it, and of course, it's a monster right now in news talk radio. So Glenn Beck, Kim Commando, Dave Ramsey, Buck and Clay took over a lot of Rush Limbaugh's. Yeah, I mean, the reason they have so many national advertisers because they're making money. And if you look on the weekend, if you look at there's always going to be some financial advisors, insurance agents, and I'll promise you right now, most of them that are on that, or if not all of them, are highly successful. So let me just go through kind of the components, just so you understand it. So let's say that you live, I'm making this all up. Say you live in, we don't have anybody in Denver right now. Say it's Denver, Colorado. And you call me and you say, listen to this webinar, and you mark yes that you want to talk to me. Dave, I live in Denver and I've been thinking about radio. I have no idea what it curtails. What happened? So here's just what you basically do. We go in, and I will say this, to be on radio, you don't have to sound like Dave Pimper, but you have to be pretty sharp-witted. I mean, if you're just kind of a slower thinker, you'd be the intelligence of off the charts, but if you kind of come across and I'll tell you, it probably isn't the speed. It needs to be kind of faster paced. You have a co-host that keeps it going, a color guy. But the most expensive part of radio is that buying the radio time at the radio station, the radio time at the right time. That's the majority of the cost of radio, probably 2/3 of the cost. It's a weekly show. It's recorded. You have your own little studio. It costs you about $250 to call it studio in a box. A little professional mic, professional headphones, sound pop on the end of your mic, little insulation booth that just a one to hold your mic in that makes it sound like you're in the studio. It's pretty wild. Then it's done through, with the co-host, it's done through a software which we provide you at no cost. But getting that radio station, so you gotta have the right time, the right station, the right time, the right price. Those three things. It's like location, 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 right station, correct time slot, right cost. Those three things have to add up. About 50% of the time we can do that, 50% of the time we cannot. But we've got a great media buyer that goes out there and he knows almost all the big stations. This really doesn't work if it's under 100,000 people. So you need 100,000 in the metropolitan area that radio station reaches. As long as you got 100,000, then this can be a very viable market for you. Second thing is, then once you're on board, then what happens is that the one specific area that we coach up on, if you don't know Social Security, there's no charge to you for me to coach you up on 3 sessions and ask me any questions, not just now, but down the road. Also, IAMS pays me, they stipend me to go in and to coach you up. So that's a great thing there. And then we have at least one other session strictly on radio, if not two. So there's anywhere from 3 to 5 sessions. Now, if you know Social Security, then it might be a session or two. But if you don't know Social Security, then you get kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting a radio show, but you're also getting coached up on Social Security claiming by me, and I do have a good insight on Social Security claiming. So that's the second thing. The third thing is having a production company. They record it, they get it down to exactly an hour, they put ads in for you. Yeah, I mean they do it all. And then the co-host, which uses a co-host every time, he's the color guy. He's like the color analysis in a sporting event. He keeps it going. But you're the star. I'm the star. It's not him. He doesn't want to be the star. He wants me to look as good as I can. And then when they call in, because it's recorded, it's a live call line, and it goes into a call center. If you want to take your own calls, that's fine. The call center's probably going to run between $175 and $200 a month, but it's live. They're very good. We do it through an electronic calendar. They have the same on your end, and you fill it out every Friday, so you have blocked off time. They know when to set the next 4 or 5 weeks and when not to. Works great for everyone that's using it. Works great for us, but I've had it before where somebody wants to take their own calls. If you want to do that, if your wife or administrator, of course, you can't take them during the show because you would say you do the show, but it's because it's recorded. You could take it, but now they know it's not recorded. So I like someone else to take those calls besides the person itself because, I want them to believe it is a live show. And then myself, I've been in the radio for nearly 30 years now. I've had very little success with 30-second and 1 minute ads. I've had very good success. One show I had for 11 years. This show has been going on for 3 years now. And in those 14, 15 years, we've really had some very good business that have come through our doors with people listening and building that credibility. So it's called Retirement Boss Radio. Take charge of your money. It's trademarked. That name and slogan is federally trademarked, so no one else can use it. Now, it's a turnkey show from start to finish. Here's what happens when the call center goes in and takes the call. They're actually going to put some notes in there, and what happens is on those notes they'll say a little like here. It says turning 59 soon, hasn't settled on someone yet, meaning an advisor yet. He has a 401k that is 7-figure. It was just under $1 million. Also had questions about his Social Security. Yeah, pretty exciting. And you know what? We're averaging. I mean, if we can get 10 out of 4 out of 4 weeks or 5 weeks, you have an hour show. I mean, that's an hour in front of thousands of people. We'd like to average at least 10 appointments or more over a month's time. If we have 10 appointments or more, we're pretty darn happy. And those are normally a little higher net income and asset base than normally Social Securities or seminars in general. If you want to just hear me do those, yeah, we upload them every week to www.retirementbossradio.com. www.retirementbossradio.com. You can listen to that, and really, we do a pretty good job of making everybody sound pretty darn good. Cost is always a question, and type in if you have any questions. I know I've already seen some questions come across, but cost, depending on your area, but normally between $3,000 and $4,000. I just took one. I mean, it's a big company. It's a big radio, the biggest up in this Midwest North city, 1 million plus population, and we've been waiting for almost a year to get at this time block, and we did it, and the whole thing's going to cost us about $3,900 over a 4-week period. So pretty darn competitive, and so most are between 3,000 and 4,000. Some can be less, some can be more. If you're in LA or New York or Chicago, Houston, it could be. Locations are available, not everywhere, but still available. I coach you up, I train you, so you got someone to do it. There's other FMOs that have radio, but really it's kind of like, hey, here's the information. Go get them, Tiger. Your studio in a box is in your home, is in your office. It could be in your car or a motel if it has Wi-Fi connection, for your computer, because it's the software through the computer that we supply at no cost to you. a lot of moving parts, but at the end, like a cake, it's got a lot of ingredients, but at the end, it turns out hopefully it tastes delicious. And this is a pretty much a turnkey system. End result, we want more appointments for you. We need you to get in front of more qualified appointments than people that have money. Al Jolson, an old actor, said, I like to do radio just like pictures leave the imperfect stuff on the cutting room floor. Well, because this is recorded, you can do that. You can cut out the bloopers. You can start all over again. You can redo total shows if you want to. That shouldn't happen too often, but you can. Yeah, pretty interesting. There's no line that says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Well, tomorrow never comes. I mean, don't let this happen to you. If you say, you know what, I never thought about radio. I thought about radio, never had really an outlet. This is a cool thing, you guys and gals. I'm telling you right now, we got our share amount of people on Friday with us. I hope that you'll go in. If you mark yes on this poll, Brady Pelzer will give you a call, and we'll get on my calendar. And I will tell you right now, radio is something that most people think it's way too costly. It's no more costly really than seminar marketing. I mean, our seminars are $2,750. There's a lot of radio shows all in for per month that costs around that range, $2,500 to $3,500. So if you have interest, certainly mark yes. You'll get on my calendar and we'll talk for 15, 20 minutes and just going to see if this is something or any other kind of marketing might be something that you have some interest in. Steve, let's go in. I know there was a couple questions at least that came on in. I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, you answered one or two of them along the way. I see as far as, so talk a little bit about I know you showed what an appointment looks like. So there seems to be some confusion about how appointments are gotten, and is it a live call in or when they call in to answer their questions. So talk about how appointments are gained, because I know that's your focus. It always has been, is let's make sure we're getting appointments. And then I think it'd be useful too to talk a little bit from your standpoint about how that's helped you from a reputation standpoint in the area.
You bet. So this is not a live show. It's recorded, which is great. I did a live show for 11 and a half years. And I mean, from 7:45 to 8 o'clock every Saturday morning. I missed very few shows unless it was a conference. I mean, even when we took trips after my Saturday show. I took my family sometimes to the radio station and we drove right off from there. This is recorded. You can do it on your own, and it's really a turnkey system. So first of all, with the lead generation, when the people call in, it goes to a high touch inbound call center. And we stay on them, man. I'll tell you what, Lynn, who really she puts a lot of time into making sure the script is right and they're saying the right things. We just had an appointment, Steve, that got lined up we had no idea when we called him. He wanted to meet face to face. They said for some reason, he got across to him that it had to be a phone appointment. Well, that just lit up our office and Lynn in particular. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you want as many face to face. We have very few phone appointments now. During the pandemic, we had more, but we still had more face to face even during the pandemic. Now we're in Nebraska, wasn't a shutdown. What do they call those states? They were a something in place state.
Shelter.
Oh my gosh. Hope I forget that the rest of my life. Shelter in place. We were not, but I know the coasts were. The coasts were. So it was tougher, but we had tons of we radio just blew up for us. And we were fortunate to be live at that time, and it's still extremely good. But what happens is, when they call in, we wrote the script, because for the first 6 weeks, my wife and my administrators, and my wife mainly, she took the calls as they came on in, and she wanted to see what they said and a lot of them wanted information mailed to them. We don't do that. Just say, no, Dave meets with you. Basically this, hey, how you doing? Good. Thanks for listening to the show. Let's get you on Dave's calendar. That's it. Let's get you on Dave's calendar. Boom, boom, boom. And it's very quick. They get name, phone number, email. We don't need the address. We get it, but we don't always have to have it. But we get it, and it's a set appointment. So we have an electronic calendar, that you fill out. You don't need the name of your clients, or if you're going golfing, it just says blocked off time. And I want at least a half an hour between each one of my appointments, so they know that I don't want them back to back. And my appointments, I always block an hour. So it's pretty cool. I mean, they just do it, and then when they press that button, the email comes to you that you get a sheet. We copy off that sheet. That sheet goes in there, says who it is, the name, a little bit of the what the notes were of what was talked about, and then there's a set time. Now it doesn't actually, like, we use Redtail, but if you use any other, I mean, if it doesn't go on my Redtail, we have to put it in. But we have another calendar that's electronic. It's not like an Outlook calendar, and that's what it goes on, and then we transfer it into my CRM of my internal. So we go through all that. We set it all up. There's no cost for that electronic calendar for yourself. So we've made a deal with the company. So it's a pretty neat system.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about how that has affected you. Because you still do seminars. You do Social Security
I do.
seminars. You're getting ready to launch taxes
Yep.
under the new. And do you think? I mean, it probably helps you, but how much does it help when people recognize your name when they get an invitation in the mail from you? You think?
Well, it helps. I mean, again, because if people meet you, they remember who you are. A lot of people listen to the radio. There's cross branding. I can't. It's subjective, Steve, so I can't put a figure on it. But do I know that it helps? Has radio helped my seminar business? You darn right. When I'm in a seminar and I got 25 people in there, and I said, "Has anybody heard my show, Retirement Boss Radio, on Saturday?" Because I have two different times: Saturday morning on Boomer or on KFAB at 12. Has anybody heard? There's always hands that go up. I mean, there just is. So does that give me credibility? You darn right it does. You darn right it does. And that cross marketing, a lot of people only do one type of marketing. I like to do multiple types of marketing, because those are two have been proven time in and time out. Sometimes things get extremely good and busy with appointments. Sometimes it slows down. But all in all, as long as I can get 10 appointments from Retirement Boss Radio a month and get 10 appointments from my Social Security seminars. I have told this to you, Steve. When we mail 2 nights. We may have enough mailing so we get 2 people in 2 nights. Our first night of our seminar that has 2 nights. We do the second one next week. Yeah, we got 9 appointments on the first night. My goal is to get 10 or more between the two. So I'm in front of a lot of people. I am a pretty good sales person, but I'm a better person of marketing to get people in front of me. Let me help you. And radio seminars, but radio is one of the great ways. And if you have some seminars questions, I will absolutely go through that with you too. And I'll tell you, if you don't know Social Security, you're missing the boat. And I can coach you up on Social Security. Either one of those programs, IAMS is nice enough to go in. They know the power of knowing Social Security claiming. They pay it for you. They pay me to coach you, and then you can use me as much as you want after that. So there's a lot of pluses of working with Dave Pimper and IAMS when it comes to marketing your practice.
Agreed. I did have a question about Retirement Boss Radio and where to find your podcast. So I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you all, by the way, for answering so quickly. Here's Dave's. Can you see before you on the screen, Dave? Can you see that?
Yep, I do see it. Yep.
All right, good. So this is Dave's website, as he mentioned before. It's www.retirementbossradio.com. Go down to the very end, bottom of the website, and there you'll see it's podcasts. And why are they in half an hour increments, Dave?
Yeah, because we actually record for 30 minutes, and then we pick up a recorded show of 30 minutes from what you recorded before, 4 weeks before. People normally don't listen to 60 minutes at one time. They listen to 10, 15 minutes, and that's why we try to say our phone number. And it's always it's a toll-free number, 888-877-800-866. Those are all toll-free numbers, but they all end in 2677, which on your keypad is BOSS, BOSS. So we say, like mine is 888-975-2677. That's 888-975-BOSS, BOSS. That's how they write down the number to call, and it's very effective. We probably say that phone number in an hour's time 15 times. 15 times, I would say, at least. So it is they're only going to, and the reason it says 26 minutes is because there's commercials in there for yourself that the production company does. There's commercials that might be there isn't local commercials normally, but there is national time that comes up, at the half an hour. So, yeah, you basically have two 30-minute segments. You record for 30 minutes, and then you have a pickup of another 30 minutes that was recorded before.
Perfect. And the last question I have is general costs. So I talked to you before you got on, or maybe you heard part of it. I talked a little bit about it, the new producer bonus, and how we will pay for the recording of 8 episodes, which is a pretty good value, obviously. But I mentioned the expense, and so now I have a couple questions about what the expense is. And it's advertising, and you can probably give them a better idea based on the kind of the size of their area, what those costs have been, but kind of give them the range of what the advertising costs have been to get on the radio for an hour a week.
Right. It isn't just the advertising, but that includes radio time, the production time, includes the call center, includes Dave Pimper. Yeah, it's going to run $3,000 to $4,000 a month to be on the radio for an hour a week. I'm telling you what, you can do a lot of damage of people listening to you in an hour a week, and people will start following you. I got people all the time say, I've listened to you now for like a year, finally came on in. Well, they feel like they've got an association. It's like watching the same. That's why they don't have many, real soap operas, but you remember the Days of Our Life or the turning, As the World Turns. Those are the ones that my mother watched. She got to be friends with all of those cast members. She knew them all by heart and their inner workings and how their personal feelings. That's kind of the way it is. That's the way Rush Limbaugh was when he was on the radio. People felt like they were friends with Rush. Well, that's the power of radio, and it can be your power too.
Yeah. Good. Well, I think we've answered all the questions. If we didn't get your question answered, most of you, it looks like, have set up an appointment with Dave, and you can certainly ask him that one-on-one. I encourage that conversation with Dave. Dave, beyond having a lot of experience in radio and give you some great insight into Retirement Boss Radio, there's a lot of things that a lot of information that he can pass on to you that I think you'd find very helpful. So take advantage of that when you make that call with him. And if you have other questions that we can help with, certainly you can call us here at 800-255-5055. For those of you that checked yes, you'll get a call from Brady here shortly, and Brady will set up an appointment with you on Dave's calendar that fits for you and fits in Dave's calendar. He has access to Dave's calendar, so we can get all that set up all at once. Thank you for joining us today. This is, I mentioned at the outset, I think the most underappreciated and underutilized service that we offer here, because everybody's okay with, they'll do a seminar and they're okay with spending the money to do that. But you realize you can get on the radio probably in your area for $3,000 to $4,000 per month for an hour a week, gaining 2 to 3 appointments per week. And Dave would tell you his experience has been they're probably higher quality than his seminar appointments. And then besides all that, then people know who you are. So that makes you more referable in your area. It makes people more likely to respond to anything that they see in the mail from you because they've heard you on the radio. You're now a credible resource. So really, really good stuff. I hope you'll take advantage of it. We'd love to help you. And there might be some ways that we can make it even more enticing for you. So I would, have that call with Dave, and then maybe we can have a call afterwards and see what we can do to help make it really work well for you. Thank you for spending some time with us today. Here we are Friday morning. You're out trying to make your business better. We are biased in all ways towards helping you. So whatever we can do here at IAMS, give us a call, 800-255-5055. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Dave. I know you got a full slate of appointments, even on a Friday. So appreciate you carving out an hour for us here this morning.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate everybody taking the time. And you know what? Let's all root for Nebraska football 3 in a row. It'll be the first time since the late 1800s we've done that. Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.